Hi, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Keith. Today is Sunday and we're making what we call New York Sunday gravy, which is a spaghetti sauce with all different kinds of meats in it. We're making our own sauce. We're going to have a nice radicchio salad with endive, and we're going to make broccoli rabe with garlic. So we'll see you in a minute. So it's called a New York Sunday sauce. I don't know if they call it all the same. It's basically a spaghetti sauce that is based with very inexpensive cuts of meat. And my theory of why we call it Sunday gravy, is that when Italian immigrants, really the first wave during World War I and before World War I, came over, they bought their spaghetti sauce recipes and moved down into Little Italy. And my theory is that in an attempt to assimilate, they didn't call it spaghetti sauce because no one knew what spaghetti sauce was. They called it gravy because everybody knew what gravy was. So this is called the New York Sunday gravy. And basically, you go down and you get the cheapest cuts of meat that are around. These are neck bones, chicken thighs, truck chop on the bone. The key is having bones in the meat because it's going to cook for about 3 hours. And when it cooks, all that good stuff comes out of the bones and into the sauce, and you'll see, it's going to be delicious. So the first thing we're going to do is fry up the meat and just crisp it up a little bit before we put it into the pot for the sauce. Okay, so we're going to put a little salt and pepper. You don't have to put it on the sausage. The chicken thighs, I like to take the skin off because it's just too much fat. It comes out much better. So you take the skin off, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Now I have the hot pan going over here, and what we're going to do is just brown everything. Put it in here. I don't think everything's going to fit. You don't want to overcrowd it when you're trying to brown something. So a couple of these are sweet sausages, they're sweet and hot sausages. And throw a chicken thigh in. When you brown it, once it's in, you basically want to let it sit, because that's what makes it get nice and crusty on the outside. And this is going to take, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. We'll be right back. Okay, remember our steel? Just give it a little bit of an edge. And our onion. Slice off that. Slice off that. Peel it around. I got an email from a Ben Doss in Brooklyn who said, "Thank you for teaching him how to cut an onion because he didn't know the proper way. You're welcome, Mr. Doss. Keep watching." Okay, so we're going to use about half of this. Put it in there. Nice diced onions. Use the blade leverage. We're going to put that into our pot that we're going to make the whole gravy in. Put some olive oil in there already. You can see our meat still browning. I'm going to flip the meat over. We're not cooking it in here, we're just browning it. Just sealing in those good flavors. That's it. Nice and caramelized. Turn the sausages over. We're going to cut the mushrooms up. I like to rough cut these, but this is kind of like a rustic dish, like a farm country dish. It's not fancy cut onions or anything, just kind of chopped up. More. Some garlic. Smash. Cut. Then just rough cut. Back into our pan. Nice sweat. I began doing this show because my son asked me how to make this dish. He's now got out of college. He wanted to know how to make the dish. And I came up with this idea. It was my friend Jake who pulling it off. Because Jake is going to college and he wanted to learn how to cook. Now we're going to put some of this in here. We're going to throw the rest of the meats in here. Let them brown. And now we're going to get the sauce. Okay, I like to use crushed tomatoes. You'll see there's tomato sauce, there's chunk tomatoes, there's whole tomatoes. I just think that the crushed tomatoes come out better. I don't care what brand you buy. There's people who believe in certain brands. I happen to like this brand, but whatever's on sale works. So we're making a small dose of this. That's why I use a small pot. When I make it, I make a huge pot of it because you're going to put the effort in. You might as well make a huge pot and you can use the extra sauce and freeze it and have it for later on. So we're dumping this. Our meat has browned. And we're going to dump in, it'll take at least 4 of these cans. And we're going to put in the rest of our meat. And then what I'm going to do is turn the heat up in the back there a bit. I have a little red wine. This is a Sangiovese, which is what they make Chianti out of, but it doesn't matter what red wine you use. And we're going to deglaze this pan. Hopefully not set up the fire. And scrape all those good scrapings, come off the pan. That's all the good stuff. All the flavor is on there. And we're going to dump that into our sauce. Along with the rest of the tomato sauce. Let's see. Basically, it's how many you can fit. 2 more. Okay. This is fresh oregano from my garden, or you could use dried oregano. This is basil from the garden. Same thing, dried, fresh, whatever. Kind of, again, rough cut, throw it in there. The oregano, you can pull off the stalk. Throw it in there. 1 more. Now, another little secret I like to use, I throw some carrots in, and the carrots give it some sweetness. They take away the acidity of the tomatoes and give it sweetness. You could actually, don't tell anybody, but put in like a pinch of sugar and you'd be okay. But don't tell them that you did that. And we're going to stir this up. Keep the top off because you want it to boil down a little bit. I'm actually going to throw in a little bit more of the red wine, about a cup. And start to let the process of cooking down, which is going to take us about 3 hours. Okay, last thing that we're going to add to the sauce is some nice flat Italian parsley, they call it. When you cut the parsley up, you kind of bunch it like this. Crunch it together. And then slice it up. You don't need the ends, the little tips, it's a little bit rough. Then we'll save some maybe to put on the dish as a ornamental. Throw that right in. And in no way the least important, very important, is the salt for the dish. Now, salt is not a one and done, and it's over villainized, I think. It's not one and done. You have to keep testing as well as with the pepper as the dish cooks, because this might be the perfect amount of salt and pepper, and I nailed it, but chances are, as the dish cooks and different flavors develop, that it's going to need a little bit of a twerking, tweaking, a little bit of help.
Tweaking,
Thank you. Tweaking, that's the word I'm looking for. All right, that's in there. And now we're going to go on to our broccoli rabe. Broccoli rabe is probably a distant cousin to broccoli. So the only thing that looks like broccoli is a little bit of the head here. It's much bitter, much more bitter than broccoli, has more flavor than broccoli. I don't know, it's very Italian. I don't know why, maybe it grows over there more. But it's a very common side dish. So this is like we made the first regular broccoli. Pay attention, broccoli rabe. We cut off the end of this about 2 inches from here. It's too tough. And wash it very, very well. It gets sandy, it has gritty. You really have to kind of take it apart, shake it, run it under the water, and rinse it off well. We're going to put it in a pan with some chopped garlic and some olive oil. So I use the same pan that I use for the meat. And we deglaze that pan. Put the olive oil in there. It's okay that this is a little wet. I actually prefer that it's wet, because it's going to help it steam. And actually, I'm going to put the garlic in first, spread it around. With the broccoli rabe, I guess is the correct way to pronounce it. And you can start to smell the garlic and the broccoli rabe. We're going to put in a little bit of the salt and pepper, of course. Now, if you like it spicy, people put in the red pepper flakes. That's it. The higher you do salt, the more even it goes on whatever it is you're salting. And of course, our cracked pepper. This is going to saute for a while. It really takes a while for it to get tender. I would say plan on a half hour. And what I do is I like to cover it so it steams a bit. We'll come back and check on that. Our spaghetti sauce, Sunday gravy sauce, is gurgling away over here. And we'll continue to do so. And now we're going to make a nice, simple salad to serve with our meal. Okay, so we're going to make an endive and radicchio salad. This is the endive. Cut that end off, throw it away. You can either split it in half if you want, but put it in here. We're going to, this is that nice fancy spinner for the salad that I'll show you about. And the radicchio is also a very kind of bitter lettuce. And this will just kind of tear up into it. Throw that in there. This is kind of a pretty big salad. Put all this in here. We're going to take it and rinse it. And I'm going to show you how to spin it in the spinner and how fun that is. Okay. So I'm just going to go rinse it off. Rinsed it off. Now we want to get all the water out. So you shook it off. There's nothing more fun than this thing. All right. See how much more water came out. Now I'm not going to throw this into the bowl yet. First we're going to make the dressing for the salad. Okay, we're going to make kind of standard go-to salad dressing. We're going to take some lemon. Now you can just squeeze the lemon into the bowl. And the main thing is that we're making the dressing in the bowl itself. So I could have put the lettuce in here and then put it on, but that's no good. So we're going to make the dressing right in the bowl. And, whoa, got it. If you have a juicer, it's a lot easier. Okay, my hands are clean, don't worry about it. And you're catching the seeds in your hand. Most of the seeds anyhow. We're going to add a little dash of mustard. Yeah, too much, not too much mustard, just a little bit. You could use the powdered mustard if you like. Olive oil is the main ingredient. Balsamic vinegar. Nice sweet, you can use any kind of vinegar if you want plain red wine, whatever you like. Fancy raspberry, if you want to make a good impression on somebody. And as you're doing this, you of course add the cracked pepper. A little bit of salt. And then you kind of roll it around the bowl. Or keep it in the bowl. And then what I like to do, now that the bowl is coated, take the balance out, throw your lettuce in there, just make that. Mix it around and drizzle. Not too much, you don't want to soak it. Okay, now we have our radicchio and endive salad with the balsamic vinaigrette. I brought some cherry tomatoes if you want to. Throw them in. And we're done. All right, we got our boiling water, or obligatory little pinch of salt. I picked rigatonis today. You can get all the 16 million different kinds of pasta. I prefer the dried out pasta than the fresh pasta. It's a matter of preference. Rigatoni, I feel, holds the sauce better. That's why I like it. It goes inside, outside, around. Into our pot of water. The pasta cannot be overcooked. That's the worst thing to do with pasta. It has to be, as they say, al dente, which means to the tooth. It means it has a little bit of a bite to it. It's not mush. And we'll come back in about 5 minutes or so and put the meal together. Okay, our pasta is done. I checked it al dente. Take it over to the sink and drain it. Do not ever, never rinse the pasta off with warm or cold water. That is a rookie mistake. Just shake off the extra juice, the water. I already put in, similar to the salad dressing, let me get this ready. I was keeping that warm for us. I already put in some sauce into the dish that we're going to serve it, so it coats the bottom. We're going to mix that all up. Depending on your preference, you can put cheese in it now or later. I'm going to add some more of the Sunday gravy. Now you see how we separated the meat. Look at our broccoli rabe. So you have a nice salad, and I've been riccio with some tomato in there and a balsamic vinegar dressing. We have our meats, different cuts of meat, sausages, chicken, veal, all boned. There we serve our Sunday salad, Sunday pasta, gravy separate, and of course we have a nice red wine. Bon appetit.